This museum is not classified but still has restricted access. This is the Laboratory of the History of Intelligence and Counterintelligence. It's here where the professionals in training learn about the history of intelligence service and the creation of clandestine networks.
It's widely known that when in 860 Prince Arnold raided the city of Constantinople, it was really hard to get into the harbor because there was a chain across it. Askold chose a time when the main garrison wasn't in the city and the chain was on the bottom of the harbor, so he was tipped off that he could enter the harbor and take the city.
To recreate the stages of the development of the intelligence services, historians spent years researching hundreds of thousands of documents from archives of many countries.
Every day we discover some new facts, new names in the history of Ukrainian intelligence or counterintelligence. We compare these facts, we get new data, because our laboratory is essentially alive. Maybe once we will get a document which would dramatically change our perception of the Ukrainian special services. That is, we don't even know ourselves which surprises history has in store for us.
The most recent history of Ukrainian special services is their participation in the hybrid war in Donbass, revealing covert anti-Ukrainian groups combating saboteurs and terrorists in the Donbass.
The students learn that at our special departments, they research classified cases because they need to know this. But here we cannot exhibit those materials. Restricted access museums exist in different governmental agencies. The Border Guard collects unusual contraband and smuggling caches. The police has a collection of material evidence. Let's see what the criminal executive has.
This museum contains the history of executing punishment. Every exhibit tells the story of the judicially punished from different eras.
Punishment blocks were used in prisons as far back as during the reign of Peter I to prevent the prisoners from escaping or committing crimes at night.
Iron fetters like these were used in the Middle Ages to bound the convicts' arms and legs. The prison interior of the 19th-20th centuries is recreated with lamps, bars, and cell doors. The history of Gulag has its own exposition of authentic objects. Stars like this were turned on in camps to signal that the work plan was fulfilled.
Usually, though, the production plan was never fulfilled, so they were never on, and when they were off, the camp leadership cut down their rations. According to historical data, Tsar Ivan the Terrible killed several thousand people. Peter I killed hundreds of thousands, but it was millions when Stalin's Gulag was created.
This exhibit tells about the period when the NKVD had their reign of terror. A desk lamp, a folder-titled case, an ashtray and a cup of tea in the investigators' hands, everything typical for those times.
The tradition of working in evening and nights was borrowed from the top leadership. They mostly drank tea not to fall asleep. Alcoholic beverages are mostly harmful and they couldn't drink them. And coffee, well, you know, we aren't a coffee country, but we sure like tea. It gave the ability not to fall asleep and continue working.
And this collection is from modern penal colonies. These caches are used by the imprisoned to pass prohibited items among each other. These include money, cards, mobile phones, and weapons. The museum workers are now creating a new exhibition about correction labor.